What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Work Knife Balance. We're diving into one of the last knives from our recent mail call with 5 knives. This is going to be another one of the Rike knives coming in here. Before we get too far into that, I want to go ahead and say thank you to anybody who's already liked and subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. You can also head over to Instagram and follow us at Work Knife Balance 939. It's a great way to communicate with us, let us know what you want to see and all that good stuff. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and dive into the knife. That's what you're here for, really. So this one is definitely different. It's not everyone's design style or anything, but there are some really cool things about this knife that we're going to look at. This is the Rike Alien 1. So there are some really cool things with this knife that kind of, well, I'm not going to do it justice by I will give you my thoughts and opinions, and I'll go into a little bit here, but there are some really cool things about this knife that if you really kind of want to dive into it a little bit more, you should check out Neve's video on the Rike Alien as well. So I will try and tag that below. I might not. I'm not really the best at all this kind of stuff and everything, but just know that if you want to know a little bit more about why this is so cool, you can check out Neve's knives on his video on the Rike Alien 1. So we'll go ahead and do some overall measurements real quick, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison to some knives. There's really not much to compare this to because it is just one of a kind in itself. So from tip to tail, we're looking at about 6.75 for blade length. This is tricky, so I'm going to go from the tip to here for blade length, which is also going to be kind of our cutting edge, but we are looking at about 2.5 with the cutting edge of about 2.4, I would say. So, yeah. Really, first off and overall, this is a super fancy box cutter. That's the way to put it. This is a super, super fancy box cutter. It has a blade that you can take out and remove. But beyond that, there are some really kind of revolutionary things about this knife. Oh, I said we were going to do side-by-side comparisons. We'll hit that real quick. So here's a Civivi Cubit. We'll do a Civivi Elementum right there as well, kind of showing you a little bit of more popular and common knives that you could see side-by-side comparison to. We'll go ahead and do the EMP EDC Ronin, and we'll do the MASH 2.5. So we got those out right there. You can see kind of good side-by-side comparisons. I really thought the best size comparison came from that Cubit. We'll grab that one more time. I thought that was probably one of the best side-by-side comparisons. It's pretty close in size in itself right there as well. You have a similar kind of arch to the back as well. This is obviously the Alien's going to have more, but you've got a little bit of similar feel to that as well. So there's some side-by-side comparisons. So yeah, so this is a titanium liner lock, so it does have a liner on the inside there, and this is a flipper, so you can see it flips out like that right there, but you do have the titanium liner lock here. It is not an integral, although it looks like an integral. There is actually a seam that you can see running through here, and then there's body screws that are holding it together. There's one down here at the bottom on this side, and then one right here on this side as well. So you can flip this, you cannot flip this. I don't believe you can flip this. You might be able to. I actually didn't try, to be honest, because it's not my knife. This is one that's coming through the pass around. But as I'm looking at it now, I believe you can actually. So you can flip it, so it can be ambidextrous on the pocket clip if you wanted to switch it over and have a lefty carry for that as well. The blade is, as I said, it's just a fancy box cutter. The blade is M390, so it's a really fancy box cutter. And it has a reusable blade, so you can actually take that out, sharpen it if you want, get it replaced. And then something that was kind of cool for this is they actually send you a fully serrated blade to go with it as well. So depending upon what your use is, you can actually have either look and either feel with the fully serrated blade or the straight edge blade to come with it. So that's kind of nice. Gives you kind of two knives in one that's fully serrated, and then one with that crazy slicey edge with the M390 there. So yeah. One of the things about this knife that makes it so revolutionary is the pivot system. So Neves kind of goes through this in his video a little bit, and I looked it up, and I'm not going to do it justice, as I was saying, but you can actually operate this knife fully without the pivot system. So this actual pivot here is not what's functioning the knife. There are bearings inside here, 2 bearings inside here that on the body itself that are operating the knife. So the pivot is kind of extra support to my understanding, but it doesn't actually operate the system itself. You get great lockup, everything without the pivot being in place or locked in place. It just adds a little bit to that color, functionality, aesthetics, and then it gives you more stability in that lock with it there as well. So the key thing is there are body bearings that are holding it in place, and then the screw here, the body screw here, and the body screw on the back side over here are what keep the knife solid together, so those body bearings are able to actuate the knife opening and closing and the folding mechanism and whatnot. So yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's actually really cool, and like I said, check out Neve's video. He'll go into it a little bit more and he actually takes it apart and shows you all that stuff and everything. So it's a really cool little knife because of that. Now, outside of that sort of new kind of technology for folding knives and all that kind of fun stuff and everything, what is this knife? Well, it is a super futuristic, kind of like wicked looking design to it. Comes in at a pretty penny at $215 right now. You do have a titanium liner lock with M390, so $215 in itself for that is not a crazy price. But the aesthetics are what I think are going to turn most people away who don't want this knife. Ergo feels really good, and I like that. You have a really good edge right here, super slicey. The fact that it comes with a second serrated blade to put in there is really awesome. But I will say there are some things about it that could be user error, could be design functionality and whatnot and everything, but the blade that comes on the backside that you see me flip is right next to the lock bar access. So it makes it tricky to get that lock bar access to open it. It is a top flipper, so there's no back flipper here. You can get in here, and I've done it a couple times. You can get in here and reverse flick that out, but it is a little bit stiffer. So really you're kind of open to the top flip only. And you've got to really kind of clear the back side, because as it's flipping, you see that flipper comes on the back, and I have caught myself many times hitting my finger right here so it doesn't fully open, and then I've got to press it open or anything like that. So there are some kind of gripes that I have with it, not huge gripes or anything, but there's things about the functionality of it that I personally don't love. But I will say it is a wicked cool design and definitely looks futuristic and like an alien. To me, it looks like Sauron's finger, almost, like in his glove, in the gauntlet. It looks kind of like Sauron's finger. You've got the kind of like plates coming over and everything, and it's just reaching out to grab you. That's a really kind of nerdy way to think about it and look at it. But this is the Alien, and it definitely has that alien view. If you look at some of the milling that they did on this, let's see if we can get it to focus on the knife here. There we go. If you look at some of the milling that they did on this knife and some of the texture that goes into this, you can definitely see why they called it Alien, and some of the detail that just adds to the aesthetic part of it too. You could almost actually call this a Batwing because it's black too, and I would say that would also be fitting for this knife, just kind of that alien or gothic look to it, and that would be kind of the two that I would look at, categories that I would drop this into. It's not what I would classify as an EDC knife. It doesn't necessarily fit my needs for what I would carry every day, but it is definitely a collector piece that I think some people are going to love out there. There are a couple different variations. There is the Alien 1 variation like this with the black and blue, and then they also have a gray and blue as well. So there is the black PVD, and then there's a like gray PVD, I think, or just sandblast gray comes through. Both of them come with the flat blade and the fully serrated blade as well. So yeah, the Alien looks like a series that they're going to continue to do. There's an Alien 4 on Rike's website as well that you can look at. It comes in at a pretty penny of around $3,200, and it looks as if someone took the Rike Lamella and the Rike Alien, meshed them together. So Rike Lamella, Rike Alien had a baby knife, and that baby knife got really into like gothic steampunk, and then turned out like the Alien 4. It's kind of wicked, and I honestly would be more inclined to get the Alien 4 if it wasn't $3,200 than the Alien 1, because it's just that much more of a kind of like unique kind of collector's piece to itself. So yeah, I don't have much else to say. I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but thanks for swinging by. We'll see you next time. There will be links below for this knife if you want to take a look at it, or if you want to look at anything else. Any of the Amazon links support our channel. Anything outside of that is just for you to check out some cool stuff. So until next time, y'all have a great day. TTFN.